welcome back to some more Borderlands 3 content. We're going to be working on a Flak Beastmaster build that can pretty much take out any boss in the game on Mayhem 3 really fast. Like, faster than I think any build can on any character. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. So anyways, I'm going to first show you how fast it can destroy the destroyer, which is kind of ironic. And then we'll get into the skills and everything that makes up the build. Got this fight down to a science. It's the fastest way to kill this boss with this build.
Keep the music.
And there you go, just like that. I don't know how long that was, but I'll probably pop up a little timer so you know how long it was exactly. Man, that's some bad luck. Mayhem 3, I didn't get a single legendary. So anyways, so let's check out the build now. Alright, so you're gonna want to first start off in the green skill tree because that is the fadeaway skill tree. And fadeaway, I'm sure you guys already know what fadeaway is because if you're looking at this video, you're either Flak already or you're already level 50 on Flak, and you should know what most of these skills are. So I'm just gonna go over them real quick. You know, I'm not gonna like go into super detail because I think it's a little self-explanatory. But anyways, we're gonna fade away. So you cloak, and critical hit damage is 200% of what it normally would be, and you have increased movement speed. We're gonna wanna go 5 into furious attack. It's a hunter skill, so shooting an enemy will give you stack of furious attack, and it'll give you increased gun damage, handling, and that's really good. It's a really good starting stat. So we want to go 3 into eager to impress. This is another kill skill. So whenever you kill an enemy, you're gonna get increased cooldown time and increased cooldown time for the pet as well. So that means that every time you kill an enemy, you're able to use fade away faster because it's going to take less time to recharge. You're going to go 5 into overclocked. So Flak gains increased fire rate and even more fire rate after reloading. So you're going to get a base 10% fire rate when it's maxed, and after reloading you're going to get another 10%. So that's 20% fire rate after reloading, and that works for 4 seconds. So that's really cool. It's a really good skill. Now you have a choice here. You can either go into put 1 point into lick the wounds, so that your pet can revive you. This is really helpful on this Mayhem 3 mode because occasionally you take a wrong hit or you don't dodge an attack and you get downed immediately. Your pet can revive you. It's really helpful. So I recommend going into it. But if you choose not to, I would put that 1 point into eager to impress for even less cooldown time. And then you're going to want to put 3 points into turn tail and run. So Flak constantly regenerates health and gains damage reduction. So that's really good. So while moving, he's gonna have, you know, health regeneration and damage reduction. So while you're moving, which you are moving most of the time, you're gonna be able to take less damage and have constant health regeneration, which is really nice. And you can only put 3 points into that. Next, we're gonna go into hidden machines. So when an enemy has no target or is attacking a different target, Flak deals increased damage against them. So basically, every time you're using fade away, every time you're using your action skill, you know, no enemy can target you because you're invisible. So you're gaining a plus 30% damage to all damage you do, grenades and guns, which is awesome. Very nice skill. And then you're gonna want to go into the Fast and the Furious, which is So while you're above half health, which most of the time you're gonna be, because you're gonna be using your action skill and regenerating health, you get increased gun damage and movement speed. So you get so on top of this, while you're cloaked, you're also gonna have a 25% bonus to gun damage. Only gun damage though, not to grenades as well. So that's 30 plus 25. That is a base 55 gun damage every time you're cloaked, as long as you are above half health, which you usually are when you're cloaked, because you have health regeneration. We're going to skip rage and recover, and we're going to go straight to the power inside. So, Flak Flex Pet gain increased damage when Flak activates an action skill. So when he uses his action skill, he gets another bonus 25% damage. So add that to your 55%, now you're having an 80% damage bonus with weapons, which is absolutely insane. And that lasts for 15 seconds, which is just awesome. With that, you're also going to want to have Gorillas in the Mist. So Fade Away no longer ends after Flak attacks, and at the cost of critical hit damage. Fade Away durations being reduced as well. So this basically means that your duration for Fade Away is going to be 8 seconds. And instead of having a 200% bonus critical hit damage, you have 50 critical hit damage. But it lasts the full 8 seconds. So normally, with just Fade Away, you'd be able to do a crazy amount more damage, but you can only fire 3 shots. That's over. This, oh, this allows you to shoot unlimited amount of times, as long as the duration of the action skill lasts. For 50% bonus critical hit damage, you know, so that's 50% plus the 80% that you get with the rest of the skills in the skill tree, which is just extremely powerful. Next, we're going to go down, and you're going to want Unblinking Eye. So successful hits on the same target increase Flak's critical hit damage per hit. So every time you hit crit, the next shot is increased 75%, and it resets after 3 hits. So one hit plus 75%, second hit plus 75%, third hit plus 75%. Then it resets back to the base damage, the base 50 plus 80, whatever, like math, whatever. And then so it just keeps stacking up over and over again and resetting. That's really really good skill. Um, when it comes to the pet you want, I go with the Gunslinger Jabber. Because he gives you increased move speed and critical hit damage. But because we also perk into the orange skill tree with Spider Ant, you guess you could pick up the Spider Ant Countess or the Spider Ant Scorcher if you wanted. I just don't prefer it because I prefer the extra critical hit and movement speed. So before you go into the purple skill tree, you want to first pop over into the blue and pick up Persistence Hunter. So this increases Flak's gun damage and action skill duration, which is an amazing skill to have. And you only have, and it's right in the beginning of the blue skill tree, so you don't have to go down it. Um, so it gives you a plus 45% action skill duration. So that takes your 8% or your 8-second skill duration, right? And makes it what? It makes it 11 or 12 seconds, depending on if it like counts up. So it's either 11 or 12 seconds. So an even longer action skill, so you can get even more crits and even more damage. It's insane, and it also increases your gun damage by 12%, just a flat 12%. So it's incredible. It's so much gun damage and so much action skill duration. So next, we're gonna want to pop over into the orange skill tree, and you want to go leave no trace. So when Flag scores a critical hit, there is a chance for one ammo to be added to their magazine. When you max this out, the chance to add ammo is plus 36%, as you can see. This is incredible. This happens almost all the time. So imagine you're using an AR, and you have 100 ammo in total. You can be firing that AR and fire like 2,000 bullets and still not run out of ammo with this skill. It's insane. So basically, this gives you a chance to have. So every shot you take, you get an ammo back. And if you have a weapon like Jacob's, where every time you score a crit, you get like 2 ammo back into the clip, you're just making ammo as you shoot, and that's insane. The next one is Interplanetary Stalker. We want to max it out 5 points. It's a hunter kill skill, so whenever Flat kills an enemy, they gain a stack of Interplanetary Stalker. For each stack, they gain a bonus to all damage dealt. So this is just great because whenever you kill an enemy, you get the stack, right? And then you deal plus 10% base damage to anything. And then you get extra damage depending on if they're a robot, a human, or a beast. Um, well, I guess if it's a beast, you get plus 7% movement speed, but the other ones give you actual damage boosts. So that's a great skill as well. You're gonna want to get head count. So whenever you score a critical hit, there's a chance their action skill cooldown is reduced. This is one of the most important skills when it comes to taking down bosses in Mayhem 3 with this build. So this means that like when you're shooting at the destroyer and it's in its down state and you're shooting Tyrene in the head and getting constant crits, you can get your action skill cooldown back in the matter of seconds. So you're doing massive damage with your skill, then you get her down, get your skill cooldown to go down as fast as you can, and you go right back to the action skills that are doing massive damage again. And you just repeat, repeat, repeat. Super helpful. Probably the most important skill in this entire build. So next is Two Fang. This is returning from Borderlands 2. Zero had Two Fang, but it works a little bit differently now. So Flak has a chance to fire an extra projectile per shot. This basically means that every shot you have a 25% chance to shoot an extra projectile. But the way it worked in BL2 is that it would fire another bullet out of your clip. In BL3, it's just a free bullet that you shoot every 25% chance. So every shot you take, you have a chance to shoot one free bullet, and that's 25% chance. Now think about it. Now let's say you fire a bullet and it makes you fire two because of this skill. So now you're firing two bullets, and with the other skill that gives you a 36% chance to have ammo return to your inventory. So now one shot, you have a chance to do double damage and get two ammo back for one shot. That's an incredible percent chance too. They're really high percent chances. And the final skill is Big Game, which is another hunter skill. So you become much more effective and have a longer duration. So this is for his hunter skills. This isn't a hunter skill, sorry, this is a passive ability. Um, but this is very nice. So your hunter skill lasts 100% longer. So now whenever you're doing damage to enemy, instead of like that hunter skill like going away super quickly, now it's lasting like double the amount of time it would normally last, which is super incredible. So now instead of like losing your ability to do even more damage, you're not losing it as fast. Now you keep that ability more. So as long as you're hitting targets and killing enemies, you're just constantly getting more stacks that last a long time. And then once you start hitting the boss, you're just doing incredible amounts of damage, as you saw. And added on to that, the hunter skill effects are 30% better. So now, like, your 15% chance to do more, like, 15% more damage is now whatever that is plus 30%. So, you know, you can do some quick math there, whatever. I'm not great at math, whatever. But all I know is that that is extremely helpful, and it allows you to kill bosses like the Destroyer, the end game boss on Mayhem 3, max level in like 30 seconds or less, depending on how you and just depending on if you do it perfectly or not. So I really recommend this build to anybody out there with Flak who's max level and is just looking for a very powerful build. Um, let's also talk about weapons I'm using. Um, so you're gonna want Jacob's weapons. Jacob's weapons are the best for this. Specifically, either the King's Call or the Queen's Call. So basically, this means that this weapon gives on every critical hit returns 3 bullets to your magazine, not your like ammo count, but your actual magazine. So it allows you to basically, when you're using your action skill, so let's say, I used an action skill or whatever, and then I'm hitting constant crits, and so I never have to reload. And so I'm hitting him with one bullet, and then the special effect of this legendary means that 3 bullets ricochet and head right back towards the boss. So it's basically every shot I take, it's 4 bullets that's hitting them for a total of like over 4,000 damage per shot. Plus like all the increased gun damage, which probably makes it like way more. So we're thinking like 4,000 damage plus all the damage boosting you get. You're probably doing like 12,000, 15,000, maybe even 20,000 per shot. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure, but I know that it's an incredible amount. Okay, and you just keep firing it over and over again because every critical hit goes right back into your magazine, so you never have to reload. So you just spam it. Same thing with the Hellwalker, which is a legendary shotgun. Um, and now I know you see that it only has 2 magazine size, so usually it shoots 2 bullets at a time, so it's an immediate reload. But because if you see, it fires. Well, that well, doesn't really show up there well. Like if we come over to this rock, we shoot it. There's like a bunch of pellets, as you can see, and so all those pellets have a chance to add ammo back to the magazine. And so basically, if as long as you're close to the target and you're shooting it, you get constant um, ammo in the clip, so you never have to reload the shotgun either. And of course, this all depends, like certain bosses I prefer the Hellwalkers, certain bosses I prefer the King's Call. Most bosses I would say I prefer the King's Call or the Queen's Call. They're both the same weapon, just different prefixes. Um, but yeah. And the weapon that I use to hit constant crits to get the action skill cooldown to go down as fast as I can so I can go right back into the action skill and start using the King's Call is Lucian's Call, because as you can see it has a very large clip and wait, hold on, let's look at it real quick. So yeah, it's a Vladoff weapon, but it has the same ability as a Jacobs, so critical hits return 2 bullets to your magazine. So not only does it shoot super fast, but it has a massive clip size, and every time you're hitting a crit, which you're going to want to be hitting crits to get your cooldown for your action skill to go down, um, you're just going to shoot this over and over again, and you're just going to get faster and faster and faster. It's a very, very good weapon. You can get the King's Call from killing the Destroyer. It's her, like, not exactly guaranteed drop, but it's a drop that only she drops, I believe. You can get the Hellwalker just from farming legendaries, farming bosses. Um, I don't know if it has a specific drop from somebody, but I know for a fact if you just farm Tyrene enough with the King's Call, you'll get it eventually. Um, and Lucian's Call, the same thing. You can do a farm um, where you kill a robot called Dinklebot, and you get a ludogram, and you can take those ludograms to Crazy Earl in Sanctuary and have a chance to get this legendary. It's like a higher percent chance, but I would honestly just recommend farming Tyrene over and over again, getting tons of money, tons of iridium, and having a chance for her to drop this legendary as well. That's how I got it. And as you can see, it's level 45, but it still puts in work. Like, I'm level 50, and most of my stuff is level 50, but Lucian's Call is still my preferred AR. It is amazing. Next, my shield. I use the Transformer. It's not exactly a important shield for this build, but it's just a shield I prefer. So you get 100% resistance to um, shock damage, and shock damage raises capacity of your shield. So if your shield is half capacity, and you get shot by an electric bullet, you take no damage, and um, it fills your shield up to max to the 11,000 that it is in capacity. And you have 40% chance to absorb bullets as well, which is just insane. This shield is it's not exactly OP, it's working as intended, but it's a great shield. Um, I'm using this class mod specifically just because it gives me a plus 25% to Jacob's weapon reload speed, so I can reload faster in case when I'm using the King's Call I miss and I actually have to reload. It's 25% quicker, and it gives me just a base 25% weapon damage to any weapon I use, so flat off and the Jacobs that I'm using. It's just a really good class mod that I found. Not important to the build. You can definitely use this build without it. It's just extra help, I guess. I use the Red Queen grenade just because I think it's a cool grenade. I'll show you what it does. Basically shoots two, and in between it puts like a laser wire. And once it hits an enemy, they both explode. Just kind of a basic grenade. I just think it looks cool. It has nothing to do with the build. And I use a Caustic Coast to White Elephant legendary artifact. Um, for almost no point at all. Except for the fact that it gives me plus 17% shotgun damage. That's the only reason I'm using it, to be honest with you. But that's about it. I would say that this build is best in the game for any class, any character at all. Uh, I'm sure, we'll probably find an even better version in the future, but for now, I would say I highly recommend this one. So yeah, that was Borderlands 3 Flak build that can destroy bosses on Mayhem 3. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys test out this for yourself and have a lot of fun farming bosses. See you guys next time.